Hi, Jeremy here from the Golfing Curriculum. Today we're talking about short putts, in particular when they have a break on them. We'll talk about technique later on and also that line speed combination. But first, some really surprising statistics on the percentages held by the pros from 3, 6 and 9 feet. So let's have a look at the probabilities, and don't forget this is the PGA Tour, this is the best players, this is their numbers. From 3 feet, no surprise, they make 99%. You can imagine, I think, you're not going to make much of a living if you can't hole out from 3 feet on the PGA Tour. So, and even I hold the odd one. Now, from 6 feet, they start to miss. Well, they start missing from 4 feet. Actually, by the time they get to 6 feet, which is this distance, it's down to 65%. And obviously, that's the best players in the world, but, oh, lipped out. But by the time you get to 9 feet, the probability has dropped to about 46%. So they're making way less than half of these. And what's the reason? Oh, well, that's nice. I've beaten the odds there. I'm not even on the tour. So what do you think happens to those numbers when we putt? Obviously, they're not as good as the PGA Tour numbers. So we have to sort of start to understand why and not beat ourselves up. If you chip it to 8 feet with a really great shot from 30 yards or something and then you miss the putt, there's a reason not to get down on yourself, as long as you've done what you intended, which is the focus of the next segment. So let me explain what makes these so difficult, or the reason at least why they don't hold all of them. If it was pretty flat and you're on a practice screen, pros would make it from here most of the time. But they've got one go, they have to make a judgment on the slope. Now, you probably can't see it with the camera, but this green slopes down towards the right side as the camera is looking at it, my left. So I have to make a judgment. And this is where I think a lot of amateur golfers go wrong. They underestimate the effect of the slope. I've stuck a tee in the ground on where I think I need to start the ball, but here's the next bit, and I've used these lines on this split ball here to demonstrate this. My goal now, my aim, is to get the speed right so the ball rolls 1 foot past the hole. That's my ideal speed, and if I start it on my intended line with the correct speed to go just a little bit past the hole, then that actually is all I can do. And then if I've read it right, then that's fine. But what I hope to see is this ball travelling end over end, which it has, and I've underestimated the borrow. You see how much that turns. So let's give it a bit more. But I know that I hit a good putt because the ball rolled without the seam wobbling. So I hit it on the line that I intended. So back and through. That's a good putt as well. It hasn't turned as much. So it rolled in a completely different way to the first one, which broke a lot. So but both times I got the ball to roll end over end. Now let's see if we can get it right this time. Well, there we go. Got one in 3. So, not ready for the tour yet, but this is the difficulty. What we have to do is make a decision, stick to it, and aim our putter away from the hole. And also, here's a big thing, follow through to that aim point as well. If you don't do that, if you follow through towards the hole, the ball will miss low side like that very first one of mine, and it will never have a chance. So let's talk about tactics and probabilities in a little more detail. So from this kind of distance on a sloping green, there's only 2 straight putts on the hole, 360 degrees around the hole, straight uphill, straight downhill. Everything else has a borrow. So if you're aiming at the middle of the hole as a habit, that is a really bad way to go about holding these with some consistency. Always try and see a borrow. And then remember, there is a speed and line combination. If you hit it firmer, it's going to break later. If you hit it softer, it's going to break sooner. So you have to allow more break if you're going to hit it softly, and a firmer putt won't break at all. So I prefer to go 1 foot past, whatever the conditions and the speed. So that is almost always what I will try and do. But I will always look for a borrow in the green, especially from 3 feet, because from 3 feet the ball is not travelling very fast at all. So this putt has to be left edge, and hopefully then, yeah, you can see it just turns. Now the important thing here is my follow through isn't towards the middle of the hole. Very good idea to hold the follow through for stability, but also you can see where my putter now points. It goes straight back, straight through, and it points not at the middle of the hole but to the starting direction, which in this instance was left edge. Let me do that one more time. So you can see this very clearly when the ball, and if you do use a line, do become good at making sure it's lined up. I see a lot of amateur golfers, they just put it down and it's not quite right, and then make sure that the white line on the putter does actually line up with it. Yeah, so the middle of the putter and the middle of that ball line up. If you're going to do it right, and then at least then we have a chance. Right, too firm, too firm. Too firm, smashed it so it didn't break on time. So this is the danger. So I'll try and show you the difference that speed makes on line. That's fairly soft and it's taken the break quite comfortably. The one I missed, you saw I'd hit it too firmly, and now if I hit it at sort of normal 1 foot past the hole speed, then takes the break as well. So it is not a given that the ball will roll straight. There's a speed line combination. You've got to make a decision on both. Yeah, my preferred way is 1 foot past is fine, then it's got a chance, and it's not losing speed and turning too much at the end. It's going to hold its line to some extent whilst also taking the borrow that I've expected. So it's all about hitting the putt that you want to hit and following through at the target that you have chosen, and then if everything's right, then the outcome will be what you want. But if you do miss, and the probabilities say that you will, then what you want is a confidence building putt where you did what you intended, you did your best, you hit a good putt, because then you will take that with you to the next green with confidence, and you can approach the next one with confidence rather than not knowing because you didn't really have an intention. Having an intention is a really important thing, because then you can understand the result to some extent, and do pay attention to what the ball does, and don't just go, oh, I pulled it left or I pushed it right. Understand the effect that speed has on these putts. So a quick word about technique. How do we make the putter stay square enough that we can then start the ball on the intended line? Well, there are a couple of things that you really want to do. Do not on any account stand like you would normally stand for, say, a 7-iron with the body upright. You need to get much closer to it. I think a couple of putter widths away from the ball. This is a fairly odd shaped putter. Actually, this is an Ivan Ballesteros putter, really great little thing. I love the length of it in particular, and the line up and the balance. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm quite close to the ball so that my eyes can be directly over the target line, and my neck, my actual neck, is horizontal, so I can rock the shoulders. It's exactly how Sevi putted, and Faldo before him, and Nicholas. So they can rock the shoulders. You see how still my legs and hips are. Yeah, so the fulcrum really is C7, they call it, the biggest vertebrae on the back of your neck. That's the fulcrum of the swing, and then the putter can stay squarer for longer. Yeah. So the putter is now still square. What we don't want is to stand too far away and too upright. Yeah, there's a big trend on the tour these days. What that will make the putter do is travel on a circle, on an arc. I produced a couple of videos on this, and the follow-on video to this one will be one of those, so you can do this, follow this in more detail, learn about this in more detail. But if you rock the shoulders up and down that way, the putter will respond by staying much squarer for much longer. If you turn, then the putter will turn with you like on a normal shot. It's a really important thing, I think, to get right, and I've seen putting strokes absolutely transformed by just having the neck down. There we go, hold the follow through, in it goes. Perfect. Now here is a wonderful drill. I do this with my Saturday clinic very often as the first task. We've got 4 balls, all at different stations, all at 90 degrees to each other around that hole. It's quite a slope, and obviously then you have to treat each one with respect, read it and play it for speed. This one's downhill and a little bit left to right, so this is a great way to put yourself to the test and not hit aimless balls, because we're making a score here. So yeah, missed that one. Right, now back up the hill. First one didn't break, got the speed right and the intention right, but it didn't want to break for me, so that one I've hit left half and right in the middle. Now the difficult ones, this one right edge and fairly firm to keep it holding its line. And let's see, yeah, that's a lovely putt, that is. That took the break beautifully. And now this one I'll have to go left edge, and again fairly firm so that it doesn't dribble away on the slope. We've got to get the speed right on these as well, and then it goes in on the high side. So 3 out of 4. Not terrible, but not great either. Poor first one. So this is a great little exercise. I'm not afraid to say that I will not make all of these, and you won't either, and there's no shame in that. So next time you're on the course and you get bent out of shape because you missed a 10-footer and it just nearly would have gone in, just remember the probabilities are against you making that putt at all. In fact, they're against anybody making that putt. The pros from 10 feet will miss more than they hole. Our job is to try and beat the averages. Now, very often when my groups play this game, I then say, right, you're not allowed to miss short and you're not allowed to miss the low side. And that is a very good tactic. Most amateur golfers leave uphill putts short, or they don't give enough speed, and they under-read. So don't let that be you. This exercise is a great way of doing it, and give yourself a shot penalty if you're short from this range. Obviously from 20, 30, 40 feet, that's a different game. But with short putting, you mustn't be short and you mustn't miss on the low side. It's a really great way to get better. Now, one final word on this quite incredible putter. You can see how small the face is. It's designed by Ivan Ballesteros, nephew of the great Seve, with a few of Seve's ideas, and I really like it. You can get them in American Golf. I'm not sponsored to say this at all. I just think it's a wonderful product, and I love the length of it as well, because just like Seve, you then have to crouch over. He's one of my absolute heroes. I was there by the edge of the 18th green at St Andrews in 1984 when he held that amazing putt. And if you look at the footage and you look at the style, his neck horizontal, rocking his shoulders, just lips it in on the high side. Copy that. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and check out the putting playlist. There's lots more information on there about long putts and short putting technique as well. I hope it helps you hole a few short ones. Thanks for watching, and see you next time for another shot on the golfing curriculum.